Hi, I'm Laura Coyle, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make confetti in Adobe Illustrator using symbols and the symbol sprayer tool. The symbol sprayer tool is right here in the middle of the advanced toolbar. If you don't have your advanced toolbar open, just go to the window menu, choose toolbars and advanced. Now, if I click on this little corner triangle here, I can see there are a lot of tools underneath, and these all go together. So I'm going to get a tear off tool panel just by clicking on this edge here, and then I can move this set of tools to the window corner there where I can use them. And what I've done here is just use this little spray can to make all this wonderful random assortment of confetti circles. So I'm going to show you how to do this. First, what I want to do is go ahead and select all of this art and delete it. And then you can see over in my symbols panel, I've already created all of these little circles here, these little confetti circles. And I'll show you how to do that. To begin with though, what you do with this tool is you just grab a symbol, grab the tool, and then just start randomly moving your mouse or your pen around to toss all of these like that. So it's really great what it does here. And then you can come back in and use these other tools here to edit inside of this symbol set. So I'll show you all of that. But to begin with, let's go ahead, I'll delete this, and we'll create one of these confetti symbols. To do that, I just created a circle. Mine's a lot larger than these right here, but that's just for this demonstration. And then what you can do is let's make a copy of this here. And I'm going to use the copy to make a shadow. So I'll start by just choosing kind of a middle gray color, and then in my transparency panel, I'll just make this a multiply blending mode, and I'll turn the opacity down here like that. All right, so next I need to just place this underneath the circle. So let's do that. And now what I have is something that's going to add just a little bit of dimension. When you see you have them next to each other like that, they kind of look like actual paper, especially when they're a lot smaller. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just delete this one here, and let's go make a symbol out of this by selecting it and then coming down here to the new symbol button. You can also just drag the artwork into the symbols panel. But when I click this, we get the symbol options dialog box here. And really everything here as it is, the defaults are fine. In fact, some of these are relating to Flash, which is kind of obsolete. So don't worry about any of this. And dynamic symbol, it's good to have this chosen, but that's always there by default. Then you can give it a name and click OK. And now we've got our symbol right there. So to add, and you can see there's a little plus sign here on this one. So it's now an instance of that symbol. Now to add these to your artwork, all you got to do is, you can drag them individually here from the panel. You can use this little arrow button right here and it will start adding them. It kind of stacks them up there and then you can move them around. And so that's basically how you create a symbol and add it to your artwork in Illustrator. But as you can see, if I was trying to do this with confetti, doing it individually is not great. So that's what we're going to use the symbol sprayer for. All right, so first I'm going to delete all of this art. Then I'll get an orange here and begin spraying with the symbol sprayer tool. And I'll just continuously add a few other colors here, just choosing them and spraying around like this. All right, so as you can see, as I do this, I'm kind of growing this box here. And this is a special kind of object in Illustrator. It's called a symbol set. And we can see that right here in the upper left corner. There it is, called a symbol set. And if I look at this in outline mode, you can see there's nothing there. So it's not something where I can kind of go in with my my black arrow and start selecting things. The only way to select or really edit anything in here or add to it is to use these tools right here. But if you want to have access to the individual symbols inside, you can always expand this. You can't go back to having a symbol set after you expand it, but let's go ahead and show you that. So if we go to the object menu and choose expand, click OK. Now what you can see is I have all of these individual symbols here and they're in a group. Okay, but I'm going to undo that because I want to go back to this symbol set. And now let's talk about the settings for the symbol sprayer. So you can get those like any other tool just by double clicking on the tool. and we're going to talk about intensity and symbol set density. So currently, these are both on a scale of 1 to 10, and currently we have our symbol set density set at 7. So let me just show you what that looks like at 1, okay? And I'll click OK. They get really spread out. You can see the symbol set is so big now we can't even see it on the edges of the view here. I'll select it again, and let's make it 5. Click OK. And then it starts crunching up like that. So that's the density setting. Next, let me come over here and let's look at intensity. So this really refers to how that tool works. So if we're talking about the symbol sprayer tool, how fast is that confetti spraying out of the tool? Right now, it's set to 9. Let me go ahead and set it to 10. This is going to be kind of crazy. I'll click OK. I'll grab purple here. And when I spray, look at that, just a ton of symbols come out like that. It's really kind of hard to control at that level. So let me go here and bring this back to 7. I kind of like the way 7 works here, but you can just change that up and down however you want. You can also add symbols to your set individually just by clicking like this. So I'm just clicking here to add purple, and you can see they're kind of going out far away from where I click, and that's a function of the density setting. So Illustrator is trying to maintain that density, so it's putting some of those symbols farther out as I click like that. Now let's look at the symbol sizer tool. So this is, let's go over here. That's the shifter, scruncher. Here's the sizer tool. So if I double click on this tool, now we can see its settings here, and the intensity and symbol set density is the same setting as I had before. And it's good to look at some of these options here, and you'll also get just a little bit of a clue for any of these tools. You can come here and just sort of switch tools by using these icons here, and Illustrator gives you a little bit of information about those. Let me go back to the symbol sizer tool. So holding down the Option key decreases the size of the symbol instances. And so just using the tool is going to increase the size. So let me try this. I'm going to click OK. And then with my brush here, essentially that's what this is. I can click on one and increase its size. I can hold down the Option key and reduce its size, or Alt key. And because the symbol sprayer works like a brush, and all of these other tools do as well, you can use the bracket keys to change the dimensions. So if I lower using the left bracket key here, that enables me to kind of target an individual symbol a little bit better here, using Option Alt to make it smaller, using just clicking and holding to make it bigger. And you can also click and do this in little increments like that. And part of the speed at which this is happening is controlled by that intensity setting. Now, if I want to affect more symbols at once, I would raise my brush size like this and then click, and you'll see that, more than one gets larger. But here's something interesting, and this is something I always forget, so it's good to remember here. I'm clicking and I'm going, why am I only affecting the purple symbols here? And there's a reason for that. It's because I only have that one purple symbol selected here in the Symbols panel. So this is really important. When you're editing a symbol set, not only do you have to have the symbol set chosen, but you have to have all of the symbols you want selected here as well. So I'm just going to go ahead, click on one, hold down my Shift key, click on the last one. I'm not including some of these in this set right now, but it doesn't matter. Just as long as the ones that are in the set here are selected, then you can affect them with these tools. So now when I use this brush, you can see I get more of the different colored symbols are actually being affected as I click here. And then I can hold Option or Alt and make these smaller. So this is a great way if you only want to affect the green symbols here, just select the green on the Symbols panel and then start working here. All right, so I've been using this tool. Let me just show you another setting here. I've been using this tool with the user defined as the method setting, and you have a couple other choices here. Now, user defined, I'm still having trouble understanding exactly what this means in every one of these cases here, but generally what it seems like to me is it means how you're moving your mouse or where you're clicking. That's kind of how you're defining it. But if I choose random here, that's going to be more obvious what that's going to do here. So if I sweep over these, you'll see I'm getting a randomization of different sizes. So some are larger, some are smaller, like that. And of course, if I want to target a certain area, I lower my brush size using the bracket key and then do that. So random can be really fun. It can be unpredictable. It's just worth experimenting with. Now let's try, let's see, the symbol shifter tool. So this is for moving the symbols. So I'm going to double click on that and I'll turn up the intensity here to 10. Let's see what happens then. And I'll click OK. And as I click here, you can see these arrows come up. And I'm trying to move symbols away from the center, as you can see. So I'm just sort of brushing here and trying to move them away. And I'm not going to be able to really get too individual here. So this is the type of thing where I might work on a design like this, then expand it and do sort of the final, touching up and moving symbols or deleting them however I need to, as, individual, pieces of art in Illustrator rather than it just being a symbol set, which has some limitations. But you can see I'm kind of, lowering my brush size, coming in here and moving these like that. And let's take a look here. I have it, the method is now dimmed. So it looks like this tool only works. You can't do it randomly. It really only works as kind of user defined in the way that you're moving your tool. And then it's got a couple of other notes down here. Hold down the Shift key to bring symbol instances forward. Hold down the Shift and Option or Alt keys to send symbol instances backwards. And just click to make that happen. And just moving my symbols here just by sweeping over them like that. And if I wanted to create a design like I had in the original with the type in the middle here, I might have started out this a little bit differently, but that's how you can move your symbols. Then we have the Symbol Scruncher tool. Double click on that. The intensity is still high. We've got random. I can change this to user defined. And then holding down the Option key or Alt key pushes symbol instances away from the cursor. So it does the opposite of scrunching. So let's come over here. I'll raise my brush size. This is scrunching symbols closer together like that. Pretty cool. And then holding down the Option or Alt key is pushing them away from each other. Very, very cool. I'm not going to go through every single one of these tools, but let's just go through another one. This one's kind of fun. The Symbol Screener tool. So what this does is it makes some of your symbols transparent, and it can do this in a random way as well. So if I want to change this to random here, and maybe I'll turn down the intensity a little bit, just so I have a little bit more control over it, then I can sort of brush over these and change the opacity of these. There are other tools here, so you can actually use the Symbol Styler tool to add drop shadows or things that you can select inside of the graphic styles panel. The Symbol Stainer tool allows you to choose a swatch color here, and let's see what we can do there. I'm going to, instead of random, I'm going to go user define, turn up the intensity, click OK, and see if I can, yeah, now I'm starting to turn these into, green, but shades that are kind of based on the original colors. So that's the Symbol Stainer tool. The spinner, it does what it says. We can't really tell with round symbols here, so I'm going to skip over that. We've already done the sizer, the scruncher, and the shifter. So we've done all of these tools. Now let's just really quickly try to create a design out of this. Okay, so here I am in a brand new document, and I've put some type here. I've locked it on a layer, and then I've got a fresh new layer above it. And then I want to get those symbols that I had in my last document. So what I did was I saved them just like you would save a swatches library. So to do that, once you have all the symbols that you want on your panel and you delete the ones you don't want, just go over here and choose Save Symbols. And then Illustrator takes you through the saving process. And then To retrieve those symbols, just go down to user defined, and there they are, confetti. So from here, you need to first select them like that, just holding down on the shift key, and then add to symbols, and all those symbols get added to the symbols panel, and then I can close this library. All right, so let's start. I've got my symbol sprayer tool. I've got the intensity set at 7, the density set at 7. I think that'll work fine. And then I'm just going to use orange here and start like this, kind of going around the type. And then over here with a little bit of yellow. And let's try some purple and some pink. All right. So that's looking pretty good. All right. And let's do some green. All right, try to get a little bit more of those going in here. Okay, great. And then I can just come through where I want more symbols, and I'll lower the brush size, and I'll just start clicking repeatedly to just place individual symbols where I want them. And also, I didn't say this before, but you can subtract symbols by using the symbol sprayer tool and holding the Option or Alt key. So if I, let's see, place some pink ones here and I decide I don't want those, that one's selected, and I can just come in here and remove them like that. Okay, so let's remove this one right here, and I can't remove it. I need to select the pink first and then click to remove it. All right, so I have the beginnings of a design here. Now, another thing that you need to know is to add to a symbol set, you need to have that symbol set selected first. So if I don't have my symbol selected and I just start painting here, then I'm creating a new symbol set. So just remember, select it first, and then you can come in and start adding whatever symbol that you have selected. Okay, now let's use some of the other tools here. So let's say I want to shift some of these out of the way. Remember, I need to select everything. I'm holding shift and selecting everything here. And that way, whenever I move these, I'm going to see that all of them are affected. So that's good. I'm just giving myself a little bit more room there. Now, if I see an area where they're a little too scrunched up, I'll use the scruncher. All right, so I'll double click on that. I can look at the intensity setting. I'll set this to user defined so I can control it. And I think this setting will be okay. I'll click OK. And remember, if I hold Option or Alt, I can kind of spread these apart a little bit. So that the scruncher works to scrunch things up, and also in reverse when you hold the Option or Alt key. Okay. Now, I don't really want to change the size of these confetti because I think that they look more realistic when they're all the same size, but I have another symbol over here. And you can see this if I drag it out here. It's just a little collection of stars and paper confetti. So I'm going to add this. So I've got that selected. I'll get my tool. And then of course I've got to select the symbol set to add some of these. And I'm just going to click a little bit here and there to add some stars to this. And now the stars I'm going to do some resizing on. So let's go ahead and I'll get the symbol sizer tool here, double click it, and then instead of user defined, I'll change it to random so we can see what happens. I'll make my brush size bigger with my bracket keys and then just sort of sweep over. And again, I only have the star selected, so that's the only thing that I'm resizing in this group here. And if I turn the intensity up, I could probably see a little bit more here, but I kind of like what's happening. And if I want to control it, of course, I'll go from random to user defined. And then like if I want this one to be smaller, I'm just going to hold down on the Option or Alt key and just click like that. And now to move this, I'll just kind of move these in like that using the symbol shifter tool. Another tool that we didn't look at before is the symbol spinner tool. And now that I'm using the star symbol, it'll be a little bit easier to see. So you can see here when I click on these little arrows appear, and I can kind of rotate them as well. So that's the symbol spinner tool. Now I'm just going to use my selection tool and make this a little bit smaller so that the design overall hugs the type a little bit better. And the next thing I'm going to do is expand this because there are more things that you can do with symbols in Illustrator. Oh, there's so much I can't even begin to go into it in this video, which is kind of getting a little long. But if I select this and expand it, I have access to more functions of symbols. So let's try that. So I've got my symbol set here, and I'm going to expand it by going up to the Object menu and then down to Expand, and click OK. And now what I have, as you can see, are individual symbols inside of a group. For now, I'm just going to ungroup these. And here's one of the cool things that you can do with symbols. So for example, if I decide, you know what, I don't like those stars, or I want to change the stars in some way, then what you can do is select just one instance of that star symbol and then go up to the Select menu. And here we have Select Same, and down to Symbol Instance. So we can select the same symbol instance as the one I have selected. And so we see now all of them are selected in this artwork. And if I go up to the top control bar, I have this little replace menu here, and I can choose another symbol. So if I decide, you know what, I don't like stars, I want to change those to yellow dots or blue dots or the dots that I created earlier, that sort of thing. So replacing a symbol makes it really easy. You can also come in here and double click on a symbol to edit it. So if you decide that you want to add different colors here or whatever, once you edit it, and I'm just going to use this little arrow to exit editing mode by just clicking on it a few times. And it looks like I'm getting a spinning beach ball. This is one of the things that can happen with symbols. It can take a little bit of processing power. And so there I am back with my, if I had edited it, I would see that update all across my art. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been really fun working on this happy birthday cheery artwork here with you. And I've told you a lot about symbols, but I can tell you there's even more to know about them. They're really fun to work with in Adobe Illustrator. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. My name is Laura Coyle, and I teach Adobe Illustrator online in my own online learning community where we have courses and community and Zoom calls on a regular basis. So check that out at my website, which is lauracoylecreative.com. And thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and please subscribe if you want to see more of my tutorials. Thank you.